Did you know a single 12-ounce coffee shop mocha can pack the sugar equivalent of dozens of teaspoons of sugar in one cup? Most people assume that as long as something isn't labeled sugar, or as long as it's a whole grain, it's safe for blood sugar. That assumption is far from true. In today's video, we're breaking down the 8 worst foods for blood sugar control, the mechanisms behind why they spike glucose, the warning signs your body gives you, and one popular, healthy food myth that has quietly wrecked blood sugar control for millions of people. Let's get into it. Number 1. White bread and whole grain bread. Be honest, when was the last time you thought twice about a slice of whole grain toast? Most people assume whole grain bread is a safe, fiber-rich carbohydrate. But here's the mechanism. Enzymes in saliva and the digestive tract break starch chains down into free glucose almost immediately on contact. Once digested, whole grain bread has essentially the same effect on blood glucose as table sugar. One average slice contains roughly 12 or more grams of carbohydrate, and that carbohydrate converts to glucose fast. Warning signs to watch for include an energy crash 60 to 90 minutes after eating, unusual thirst, or a jittery, foggy feeling shortly after a sandwich. Left unchecked, repeated blood sugar spikes force the pancreas to release large amounts of insulin, which over time contributes to insulin resistance. The one exception: some people with delayed stomach emptying process bread more slowly, so their spike is blunted, but that's an exception, not the rule. Next up is a food most athletes swear by. Number 2. Pasta. Pasta has been marketed for decades as the ultimate carb-loading food for runners and athletes. But regardless of whether it's durum wheat or egg pasta, the digestive process converts it to glucose quickly, and it can raise blood sugar very rapidly. The mechanism is the same as with bread. Long starch chains get chopped down by digestive enzymes into simple glucose. A specific threshold worth knowing: for most adults, roughly 1 gram of digestible carbohydrate raises blood sugar about 5 milligrams per deciliter. A large bowl of pasta can easily contain 60 to 80 grams of carbohydrate. Do the math, and you're looking at a triple-digit blood sugar spike. Signs this is happening to you include heaviness or sleepiness after eating, and blood sugar readings that stay elevated for hours rather than returning to baseline. The one nuance: pairing pasta with fat can slow digestion slightly, but it does not prevent the elevation, it just delays it. Number 3. White and brown rice. Here's a fact that surprises almost everyone. According to the glycemic index, brown rice actually raises blood sugar faster than white rice. Most people assume brown rice is automatically the healthier choice because it's less processed. But both raise blood sugar rapidly for most people, and the fiber content doesn't meaningfully slow that process. The mechanism is identical to bread and pasta. Rice is essentially a chain of glucose molecules, and digestion unlocks that glucose quickly. If you're noticing your energy nosedives an hour or two after a rice-heavy meal, or you feel unusually hungry again soon after eating, that's a sign of a rapid rise and crash pattern. The consequence of chronic spikes like this is elevated post-meal blood sugar, which research has linked to cardiovascular damage more strongly than fasting blood sugar alone. The exception here is portion size. A token garnish amount has a negligible effect, but a standard serving does not. Number 4. Potatoes. Let's talk about the food that quietly does more damage than dessert. For most people, cooked potatoes raise blood sugar almost as fast as drinking pure glucose, even though they don't taste sweet at all. That's the mechanism worth understanding. Sweetness has nothing to do with how fast a food turns into blood sugar. Heat actually accelerates this process. Cooking breaks down complex starch structures into simpler, faster-absorbing sugars, which is why cooked carrots and cooked potatoes spike blood sugar faster than their raw counterparts. Watch for a sharp post-meal glucose spike within 30 to 60 minutes, followed by a crash. The real-world consequence is that potatoes, despite their vegetable status, function metabolically almost identically to a spoonful of sugar. Now here's where we hit a genuine, evidence-backed controversy in the nutrition world. Number 5. Breakfast cereal. Be honest, how often do you check the sugar content of your cereal box versus just trusting the high protein or whole grain label on the front? Most cereals, even those marketing themselves as high protein, are virtually all carbohydrate. Even plain bran flakes are mostly flour. The mechanism: grain-based cereals digest into glucose almost as fast as bread, and a half cup of cooked cereal can carry 10 to 25 grams of fast-acting carbohydrate. Add milk, which contains lactose, its own simple sugar, and you're compounding the spike. Watch for hunger returning within 2 hours of breakfast, a classic sign of a rapid sugar spike followed by a crash. The exception: true brand products with minimal flour content behave very differently, since they're mostly indigestible fiber rather than starch. Number 6. Fruit and fruit juice. Fruit gets a free pass in most diets because it's natural. But natural doesn't mean blood sugar friendly. Fructose and other fruit sugars will raise blood glucose just as much as table sugar. The only difference is speed, not magnitude. A specific data point: orange juice contains roughly as much sugar as a regular soft drink. A medium apple can carry around 21 grams of carbohydrate, enough to produce a significant blood sugar rise. Signs to watch for include a delayed spike an hour or two after drinking juice, since fructose acts more slowly than table sugar, but still elevates blood sugar substantially. The one exception: certain vegetable fruits like cucumbers, avocados, and bell peppers are technically fruit but are mostly indigestible cellulose, so they don't behave the same way. Number 7. Sugar-free candy and sugar alcohols. This one catches people off guard because the label says sugar-free. Most sugar-free candies use sugar alcohols like sorbitol instead of sucrose. Here's the specific number: a tiny sugar-free hard candy containing just 2.5 grams of sorbitol can raise blood sugar almost 13 milligrams per deciliter, and eating 10 of them can raise it by over 100 milligrams per deciliter. The mechanism is that sorbitol has roughly one-third the sweetening power of sucrose, so manufacturers use 3 times as much to get the same taste, which means it raises blood sugar almost as much as regular sugar, just more slowly. Watch out for ingredient names ending in OL or OS on labels. The exception: true non-caloric sweeteners in tablet form, rather than bulk powder, generally have a negligible effect. Number 8. Cooked tomato sauce and skim milk, the sneaky duo. Two foods deserve a joint call-out because both defy expectations. First, tomatoes are technically a fruit, and prolonged cooking, the kind used to make sauce, releases significant glucose from their sugars, meaning tomato sauce affects blood sugar far more than a raw slice would. Second, skim milk actually contains more lactose per ounce than whole milk because removing the fat concentrates the remaining sugar and water content. Both foods hide behind a light or healthy reputation while quietly delivering meaningful glucose. The takeaway: fat isn't the enemy hiding in these foods, sugar is, and removing fat often means the sugar content goes up, not down. So there you have it, 8 everyday foods that are working against your blood sugar, often disguised as healthy, whole grain, or sugar-free. But there's one more hidden danger we haven't even touched yet, and it's sitting in almost everyone's coffee order. Next time, we're breaking down the specific drink that can spike your blood sugar more than a candy bar and the exact gram threshold where it crosses the line. Subscribe so you don't miss it.